Britney Spears has come out and made the statement that she's not doing music currently for the purpose of making a statement to her family for the awful things that were done to her. What is up, guys? Welcome back to Still Slaps Music Commentary. Today, we're back at it again talking about Britney Spears with the recent news of her coming out and making this statement. Now, this is obvious. This was something that we all saw coming. We all saw this type of attitude and statement coming from Britney. It makes perfect sense. Now, with that being said, I made a video not too long ago talking about Britney Spears' potential comeback, and I made a series even. If you want to check that out, links will be below, talking about what her potential new album could sound like. I still stand by those videos, and I'm going to give you my reasoning on why. But first, let's talk about this statement. Now, Britney Spears obviously came out and said this, and you know what? Here's why it makes sense. Britney Spears came out at a time where it's not like a lot of us as artists today who can just up and decide that they want to be independent and hope that they can gain some sort of traction due to the lack of social media, the lack of what kids like Britney had in their time period of becoming musicians. You had to go through a force. If you were a kid, if you were being challenged with the face of, I'm really, really talented and I need to go and I need to do all this, I need to go through different doors, some doors I don't want to open, which Britney had to do through her parents and through these big corporate machines who at the time were running the music industry like it was nothing. They had complete control over her. And obviously, if you look at the documentary, she was clearly not built for that path. And here's what's happening. Britney Spears, out of all those years, was doing her music out of passion. She was doing her music out of a place where it felt good. But guess what happens? The best example we could draw from in this example is a soldier. A soldier might go to war because a soldier feels that they are in debt to their country. They're in debt to, they have a passion to go and fight for their country. When you have something that's worth fighting for and you go through the experience and you realize you end up in that war, right? What happens sometimes when you end up in that war? Sometimes you die on the field. Sometimes you are sent home, you're discharged for whatever reason. But to make this example a lot more simple to kind of really talk about, Britney Spears had something that was worth fighting for all those years. As a kid, she was balancing the best of both worlds, being one of the biggest pop stars of her time, while at the same time kind of under a microscope. She was on that field of war with a lot of things that was just out of her control. The media, there was no training on how to deal with the media being in your face all the time. There was no training on her even going through her own personal family life when it came down to having children and it came down to having to balance relationships while being a mega pop star. She had to go through these things firsthand, and really in the balance was the music. It was hanging by a thread. And now we're at a point where she's a whole grown woman. She's now free from the conservatorship, ending 2021 in the biggest bang that she could ever have. And that's being able to enjoy her kids and being able to do things for herself again, have the potential of marriage in sight again. Of course, Britney is not going to want to go back to music. Music is the blessing and the curse for someone like Britney Spears right now, because it is not, in her mind, it is a nightmare. It's nightmare fuel because it's a reminder. It's a reminder of all the things that she had to fight to get away from. And at the same time, it's still a blessing because what do we see that's going on? Britney is still posting. She's been out of this conservatorship for a little bit now. She's still posting old videos of her dancing. She's posting videos of her in the mirror singing her heart out. Britney is still a passionate performer, and that is why my theory of her potentially having one of the biggest comebacks in music still stands, because Britney Spears is somebody who you can see the passion is still in her. It doesn't matter. It does matter, but it only matters to a certain degree that there's trauma behind it. You can argue that a person who comes back from war, you can argue that they're conflicted, but they still have those passionate feelings about going to fight for their cause, whatever they believe to fight for. You could say the same thing about somebody like Britney Spears. Britney Spears is one of the strongest people to have emerged from the tribulation and the trial that have been following her for years on into adulthood. So this is nothing surprising to me. I knew this would be something. As a person who's gone through their own personal experience in life in regards to certain traumas and certain things, I totally get this. And this is not for Britney's fans, her fan base, to go run to the nearest well and start filling it up with their tears. That's not what this is for. This is for everybody to realize that this is a normal reaction. Britney is going through the post-traumatic stress that has been following her for years. I can imagine the position that her mental state is in right now, even with the victory. And that's something that we got to remember. I still believe one day Britney will come back with that comeback album. I think it'll happen. It might not happen within a year. It might not happen within 2 years, 4 years. She's obviously focused on the healing first. And she's making this statement because that's true. She made a bunch of money for her family. Even with going through the conservatorship, we all know. A bunch of money was made. A bunch of people who had no business being in the funds for Britney really profited. And it's sad. But this is a turnaround. Britney will come back one day and have that album. And I'm willing to bet it'll be one of the best albums of her career. So that's my commentary for today. You guys let me know how you're feeling about this. Do you think you're going to get that new Britney album sooner or later? Do you think we'll be alive to see it, depending on her healing process? Let me know, guys. This has been Shuby. Britney Spears, free from the conservatorship, ending 2021 out. One of the strongest people to have ever done it in the music industry. Still slaps.
That slaps.